To the honorees and finalists, congratulations. Pro staff is honored to celebrate this achievement with you, and we're proud to support manufacturing in Minnesota. Thank you and your teams for all that you do. Once again, congratulations.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Twin Cities Business's Manufacturing Excellence Conversation Series. I'm Allison Kaplan. I'm the Editor-in-Chief of TCB, and I thank you for spending your lunch hour with us today. Well, today is the third in our 5-week series, the third event in our 5-week series, highlighting recent achievements and strategies, responses to COVID-19, and best practices among our Manufacturing Excellence Awards recipients. You can read about all of them in our latest issue, the August-September issue of TCB, and online at tcbmag.com. For those of you joining us today, welcome. Feel free to use the comment section in the lower portion of your screen. You can use the chat or Q&A function if you have a question or comment and want to jump in. We'll include as many of you as we can. Before I introduce today's speaker, who I'm really delighted to bring to you, I want to briefly thank our sponsors, PNC Bank, Pro Staff, and Ware Technology Services. We couldn't do this event without you. I'd also like to thank our industry partners, Minnesota Precision Manufacturing Association and the Manufacturers Alliance, as well as our video partner, Studio 120. And now I'd like to introduce Bob Waldron. He's the CEO of Cameron's Coffee. Hi, Bob.
Good afternoon, Allison. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for joining us. I want to tell everybody a little bit about you. Bob joined Cameron's Coffee in March of 2015 with the goal of expanding the Upper Midwest's fastest growing coffee brand. A new leadership team under Bob's direction transformed the entrepreneurial company to a fast-growing, professionalized consumer packaged company, able to compete with industry giants. Cameron's Coffee doubled in sales by 2019, leading to an acquisition by Grupo Nutrisa. Bob and the team continue to drive growth in the Shakopee Roastery. I think so many people, Bob, don't realize that you're based right here in Shakopee, while also leveraging Grupo Nutrisa for innovation and sustainability. Bob, thanks so much for being here today.
Well, pleasure to be here with you, Allison.
Well, first of all, maybe let's start, it's funny, on Twitter this morning, we were telling everybody that you were going to be joining us, and we had readers who were saying, I love Cameron's Coffee. I didn't realize they were based here. I feel like you're one of the best kept secrets in this market. Why is that? Tell us a little about Cameron's.
It is interesting. I think we're probably one of the largest roasters, particularly here in Minnesota, that no one knows we're here. We have put our focus to telling people why we have a superior product versus our location. And so that's probably the story.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell everybody a little bit about the scale and operation? Obviously, you don't have shops, you're focused on packaged coffee.
Yeah, everything is made in Shakopee, Minnesota. And years ago, we came up with a concept prior to my time here of democratizing specialty coffee. That was really allowing everybody to taste great coffee. So we have evolved that to really be, we are attempting as a team to elevate the at-home coffee experience. So because of that, we do not do food service and we do not do coffee shops. And if you think about coffee shop coffee, it's all very good, love it every now and then. but they really want to sell you a coffee flavored milkshake, a latte, a cappuccino. And so therefore they roast the coffee, almost over roasted, in order for it to punch through all that dairy and sugar. Well, we're just trying to be your first cup of coffee in the day. If you're in your slippers in your kitchen, your favorite mug, if you're going on your travel mug on your way to work, we just want to be a great coffee. And we do not, if you come visit us at Cameron's, we do not offer cream and sugar. We think the coffee can be that good, it should stand by itself. So we buy some of the best coffee beans from all over the world. We compete with Peet's and Starbucks for some of these coffees. We bring them in and we roast them a little bit differently. We make them always smooth and never bitter. So it's just a better, more well-rounded cup of coffee. And then we package it here, and we're focused. So we have high-speed packaging lines so we can put fresh coffee within 2 hours into a valve, a nitrogen-flushed environment, so there's no staling of the coffee. We rush it to grocery stores, and with that process, we can undercut everyone else by at least $1. So it's ended up, we've been the fastest growing brand, or one of them, in the top 30 for the last 3.5 years. So we feel we have a superior product. We are now starting to tell people about it, not so much about Shakopee, which I would love to and I'm very proud of, but more about Always Smooth, Never Bitter. And then we're just trying to get it everywhere.
Sure. Well, you know, Minnesotans love to claim things that as our own. So it's just fun for those of us here in this market to know that you are based here. It seems like there's probably never been a better time to be in the home coffee business, in the packaged goods. What has the pandemic done for your business?
Well, you're absolutely right. We do not have any coffee shops, so everything goes through grocery stores. And we started getting an inkling in early March, and then March sales were up double digit, and then April sales were up almost 47% versus last year. And they have stayed up almost 20% since then. It's settling down a little bit, but there are more consumers working at home. There are more consumers converting back to the drip coffee bearer. So valve bags are selling faster than single serves, which it was the reverse before the pandemic. And it's fallen right into what we do well. And look, we cannot take accountability for the huge demand that came our way. But the team was ready to respond, and we've had almost a 96% service level, 96% of our orders went out on time during the tough months. We're at over 99% today. So we were able to respond quickly because it's how our operation is built. And that has helped us, and it's given us good credibility with the retailers.
Sure. Do you anticipate that this is a blip in the market, that as people, you know, when there's a vaccine and people return to the workplace, things are going to change? Or do you think we're seeing a real lasting shift in consumer behavior around coffee drinking?
Well, it's going to be interesting how it plays out. We obviously, we're going to probably be in this situation for at least 18 months because we're a great country, we'll come up with a vaccine. But then we got to get that vaccine through the population. And then what we're hearing is 1/3 of the population doesn't want to take the vaccine. So there will still be, I think, uncertainty for 1.5 years. But after that, people are wanting to get back out to their routine. So I think there will be a drifting back to coffee shops and the like, but it's going to take time. And I think now people are getting used to ordering coffee online. They are getting used to buying coffee. And what we're finding in the pandemic is people are experimenting with better coffee. So whereas before you might have been buying conventional or traditional coffee, you just got into a routine, the price point was correct. People are elevating to try something new because they're no longer spending vacation money. So they're doing permissible indulgences, and we're seeing a big lift as people trading up to Cameron's Coffee and then realizing how good it is. So your question is, I think we're definitely going to see a bump for another 18 months. After that, I think it'll be steady growth in the more premium coffees because there's so much trial happening today.
Sure. How many cups of coffee do you average a day, Bob?
I try to limit it to 2. I think that is the generally recommended healthy dose. You can go up to 6, they say, but 2 is good. And the ultimate timing is 9:30 start, and the coffee will then stay in with you for 10 hours for the rest of the day. So you should be monitoring your load. We're not asking people to drink 20 cups of coffee a day, but you should time it well to get yourself moving in the morning. It really transforms all of us.
I think I've been starting too early, so this is a good tip. Obviously, manufacturing, it has been an essential industry throughout this pandemic. Did you have any disruption? I mean, you said you were basically able to fulfill nearly 100% of your orders. Have you had any impact in terms of, I don't know, supply chain or delivery, or how are you managing things at the plant?
Well, we were, our overall supply chain, we are currently buying from 17 different coffee regions around the world. So Indonesia, South America, Hawaii, all over the world. And our worry was, at the very beginning, most container ships start in China. So that's where the virus started. The container ship was leaving China, delivering goods to different parts of the world, and then picking up coffee in South America or Indonesia and bringing it to the US. But we're watching that the container ships were being stopped in port and being held for 2 weeks. And then it was taking time to get the coffee. So that's where our concern was. And we rushed 3 million pounds of coffee to the United States. We had that on order, but for delivery throughout the year, we brought that forward. And so that helped us. And then our team volunteered to work some weekends, get some overtime. It was still cold out, so it worked out well. And we were able to keep up with demand because we had the components on site and we had the team willing to get the job done. And so that's what helped us done. But every day we meet as a leadership team. There's a dedicated 3-person specialty group on COVID to make sure, is there anybody out? Has anybody reported being sick? If they are, we get them tested, results in 24 hours. We keep them out so that we keep the entire team healthy as possible.
Sure. I want to be sure to talk about sustainability. I know it's been a big focus for you, and I know that you've made great strides with your eco-pods in recent years. Tell us a little about that.
Well, years ago, we watched Keurig come into the marketplace, and they had a license and a trademark that you could not get around. But in 2012, that license then was released to the marketplace. And our previous CEO, Bill Kirkpatrick, who really built this company, tasted the product in a plastic K-cup. And you get a plastic brew aroma and then generally a thin cup of coffee. And so he rejected the use of a Keurig K-cup. But we worked with some Italian designers in packaging equipment that we use, and they developed, many of you may have seen a soft bottom, a filtered pod that we have. And originally it was a foil top, a plastic ring, and a plastic kind of filter. And then when I came in and a few of us looked at it, we realized with the help from some external US experts, we could convert that to a compostable pod. And it took us about 2.5 years, but all the elements now are fully compostable. But I want to let you know, we got into it because it's a better taste experience. And then the extra benefit is it's compostable. And there's no official regulation or certification for home composting, but it will compost in your garden. But it will just take a long time, particularly in Minnesota's winter. But eventually it will break down sometime in the summer. So we feel really good about that. And then our other sustainability efforts have been trying to have as much direct trade with small farmers as possible. So we do buy some farms from Brazil. They tend to be bigger farms. We try to go to the medium-sized farms. But when you start going to countries like Colombia, it's all farming at a 45-degree angle. So it is a man and his donkey. It is a woman and her daughters on a certain farm. And it's tough to mechanize that economy. So we're trying to give them as much support as possible so that they can keep farming in the family.
Did the EcoPods change your manufacturing process? Did you need different equipment? Is it a more complicated, packaging? How does it work?
Well, we waited and designed the soft bottom pod originally, and we built brand new machines for that. And then when we were able to add in the compostable elements, we made them work right into our machines. There's a couple secrets that we had to apply, and one is that on compostable mesh, you have to heat that before you push it down to fit the coffee, and otherwise it is a brittle mesh and it'll break. So we're trying to tell people what we've done. We've done films and stuff because the more of the industry shifts away, it's better for the environment with less plastic cups going in, and then we'll just win again on our better taste. So we feel confident in converting people. If they will, they'll come in and visit us. We've shown different coffee roasters what we do to see if they'll also move to compostable pods.
That is so interesting that it isn't proprietary. Is there anyone else, any of your competitors doing compostable pods?
There is a group in San Francisco that are doing it. They were using 2 of our elements, but not the third. I don't know, they were using a Japanese supplier for the third, but I think they've just converted as they were running into difficulties. And there's a competitor in Canada that has their own technology that's similar to ours, but I think ours actually runs more efficiently on the lines. So that allows us to keep our costs down in better perspective.
Very interesting. You and I talked about this a little bit the other day. It feels like Minnesota given our size, that we have a lot of, and our distance from places like Brazil and Costa Rica, we have a lot of coffee companies. Why, the startups, the big guys, I won't name names, but I think we all know them. Why is that? Or is it just, or does every market have this much coffee happening these days?
There's lots of coffee. I would say there's lots of small coffee in many markets, but I'd say we're a little bit differentiated in that we have a large coffee house chain in both Caribou and Dunn Brothers. We've got some startups. We have a lot of high-end places. And I think it's the industrialness of Minnesotans and the fact that we probably get up in the dark for 6 months of the year. And so I think if you put those 2 combinations together, maybe the third is that we are we have a high income rate up in Minneapolis, that people can travel the world and have the capability of seeing things, that it brings a global perspective. But I'd say we are unusually high for our per capita in the number of major brands of coffee and the growing number of startups that are happening.
Very interesting. Okay, so it's not just my perception. I want to ask you one more question about manufacturing in Minnesota, but before we do that, and this would be a good time if anybody listening has any last questions for Bob that we can get to, we just want to take a minute to hear from one of our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Kate Kelly, Regional President for Minnesota for PNC Bank. We are so happy to be here. What you do in business and in life is a vital part of the ultimate outcome. PNC applauds the 2020 Business Manufacturing Excellent honorees for their many contributions to our local community and to our world. You are leading and making this a better place for all of us. Thank you.
Thanks for coming back, Bob. Just one more question before we let you go. When you think about this challenging year and this time that we're all still going through, and manufacturing, which is such a critical, vital industry in Minnesota, what is the future? What does manufacturing need? What are the opportunities? What are the things on your mind as the CEO of a major manufacturer right now?
Yeah, I think at some point, obviously I'm confident we will get past this, but it's going to take time. So showing care and concern for the continuous pressure that is on people. I think in the short term, with all the school reopenings, without consistency of approach, you almost have to hire more people for the ability to be flexible in people's lives. So that's happening now. Longer term, as we keep going, it's building a culture and always staying on it in which people are trying to do their best and take care of their coworkers, because you never know when something like this comes up. And albeit I am the leader of the organization, the reality is all the work's happening out on our roastery floor, and they're taking care of each other. And so it's just, I think that's an old idea that carries through, but a culture of excellence and caring, that's what we want to keep doing. And if that means from our part as management, we have to provide the benefits, we have to provide the training, we have to provide the advancement, there's the opportunities that we have to make sure we keep a culture of excellence.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for spending a little bit of time with us today, Bob. On behalf of everyone at Twin Cities Business, congratulations to everyone on your team at Cameron's Coffee. We're delighted to include you in this year's Manufacturing Excellence Awards.
All right. Thank you, Allison. Take care.
Before we go, we just want to thank our sponsors one more time: PNC Bank, ProStaff, and Ware Technology Services, as well as industry partners, Minnesota Precision Manufacturing Association, and the Manufacturers Alliance. Thank you all for joining us today. Please tune in again on Thursday. We're going to hear from Rich Garrity, the president of Stratasys, and watch our website, tcbmag.com. We'll have this conversation and all the others in our Manufacturing Excellence Conversation series online very soon. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day.
See ya.